Hey, Mike.
Hi, Caleb. How are you doing?
I'm doing incredibly well. I'm very excited.
Oh wow, yeah. See, so you delve into Tesla, and I watched the debate, and yeah, we're in different mind states right now. But what are you drinking?
I'm drinking a gin gimlet, refreshing lime gin, and it's good. It's tasty. What about you?
I am drinking a Manhattan. The drink I drink when I actually don't have a drink to make. It's my house drink, my go-to, and my comfort blanket. So
All
I'm
right.
I'm wrapped up in a Manhattan right now.
So, just to get it out of the way, Tesla just announced earlier today that they are going full self driving, and the cars that will be shipping tomorrow will have the hardware to enable full self driving, no human intervention, coast to coast, city driving, highway driving, and they are quite confident in this. And I am incredibly excited, overwhelmed with thoughts going through my head about everything they just announced. I feel similar to when I first heard about the iPhone or watched the iPhone announcement in January 9th of 2007. Possibly more excited. So this is a big day.
When the demo orders all the lattes from Starbucks, they can actually drive themselves over to the conference.
They could. Yes, Steve
That was
Jobs
some
could
that
play
was
a
some
good trick.
that was some inside Apple joking right there. Sorry.
The
about
question
that.
is, which Starbucks did they call?
It doesn't matter.
The one right across from Moscone. But they could call anyone now.
Yeah, anyone in the area. It could be like a coordinated effort to meet the demand.
So I think that most people listening to this show will have read most of the news by the time this comes out. And so I think we can talk about some of the specifics and the things that jumped out at us. So coming into this event, we had a tweet from Elon a few days ago saying that there was going to be a Tesla announcement on Monday. He later announced that it would take a couple more days to refine and decided to push that to Wednesday, which is the day we record. And the Tesla account said there was going to be a new product. So there was a whole bunch of fervor, and you and I were both chatting about a whole bunch of different ideas. And I think even in one of the few past episodes, I thought, okay, it's probably going to be Autopilot. But we came up with a whole bunch of other ideas because it didn't seem like Autopilot and autonomy was going to be the thing because they said it's a new product. And then he said it was going to be part of the Model 3 Part 2 unveil. This was what he had been referring to. And they had been saying that in the past that this would be something they thought would get a lot more people to order Model 3 and that the steering controls from Model 3 would become clear. And so in the hours leading up to this announcement, a lot of people were like, oh my goodness, they're going to show off the interior of the Model 3. So we didn't get the Model 3 interior.
Or maybe we already had it.
Maybe we did. I mean, he said that was not the exact steering controls. So I think there's still going to be another announcement about the interior.
Saying that's not the exact steering controls doesn't actually mean that it's going to be radically different. It could just mean that it's going to be slightly oblong or that the airbag will be larger.
Yeah, he did say it was going to be spaceship-like, so we'll see. I still have high hopes that there's going to be...
Maybe it's just all going to be carbon fiber.
There'll be something different. But I think that the important component here is that Tesla is now the first automaker to be shipping hardware that, in their estimation, will be fully capable of the full nirvana level of self-driving. Level 5.
Going full level 5.
Going full level 5. And I saw the news as I was getting on a train and started reading about it. And I honestly was kind of gobsmacked that this is what they came out with, because I was expecting it was going to be an in the next level of the Autopilot, that there would be another set of sensors, but that they wouldn't say it would go fully autonomous, that it would just be, here's our next version that's better, and that's what I expected would be on the Model 3. But as you know, I was secretly, in my heart of hearts, holding out hope that Model 3 would have the hardware to go fully autonomous and that it would seal the deal 100%, I need to buy this car. And now, a year in advance, or 9 months in advance, hopefully, they have sealed the deal for sure that I absolutely have to buy this car.
Your reservation will not be canceled?
It will not be canceled, and I also think I will probably pay full price and just buy it outright instead of leasing it, because I think this car is going to be incredibly in high demand, and I want to own it and have it and be able to use it fully and not worry about how much I drive it or let other people drive it, which we'll get to.
So this is probably a good time to jump in just briefly on the up before today. There was the announcement about availability and this question about like 2018, and didn't Elon end up clarifying that that was like for people who weren't on the reservation list? Is that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so they, in advance of this, and now we can look at the pieces and it makes sense perhaps that they updated the Tesla page for Model 3, where previously it had said something to the effect of beginning production or deliveries in end of 2017, late 2017. And now it says 2018 for most people in most countries.
Right. And the immediate reaction was, oh, they're pushing it back. But then Mr. Musk hopped on Twitter to clarify.
Exactly. That they have pretty much sold out or reserved out the first 12 months of production capability.
Optimistically.
And so, yes.
On both axes, actually.
Yes, on the completion rate of the orders and also on their capabilities of producing that many in 12 months. But that they wanted to more accurately reflect the current status in their best estimation of what would happen if you were to reserve today. And now, a day or two after that's happened, it makes more sense to me, at least, that they wanted to do that to make sure that people who are hearing about this in all the major news, which will be happening in the next couple days, and they want to go and reserve a Model 3, their expectations will be more accurately set. So that was done in preparation. So talking about what actually was announced, there's a new hardware suite, and there's also new software coming, and also very detailed explanations on their product page about their intentions for 2 new levels of Autopilot that are coming. So we'll go through those probably in the first half, and if we're lucky, and then we can talk more about implications in a future episode. So the first things, the primary components are the hardware sensing capabilities have been improved. So there are now going to be 8 cameras up from 1. Yes. 3 of them are front-facing. And there is also going to be better ultrasonics, which can see it at 2 times the range. So that's quite a big improvement.
Do you know what the current range was, or did they specify, or was it just relative?
Yes, the current range is 4 meters. The new range is 8 meters, and that is 26 feet.
Okay, so that's for like low speed stuff then.
Low speed parking, and it can now also see soft and hard objects with the ultrasonics. The other cameras are to create a full 360-degree view around the vehicle, and so that is the really sort of compelling component to how they can make this happen. So they've got the a forward-looking side camera as well to start to get to the sort of full 180 aperture from the front of the vehicle, and then they also have a wide forward camera.
Do you know if they're maybe they didn't get into this level of detail, but are the 2 cameras doing like a stereoscopic like binocular vision?
No.
View?
No, so there's the front 3 housed ones. There's a narrow forward camera which can go the furthest at 250 meters. So that's for long range.
So like when
imaging.
the $6 million man does the dig 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 and gets the zoom in.
That's the zoom deep range. Then there's a main forward camera which is more similar to what's currently there, which has 150. And then they've got a fisheye 60-meter range that has a very wide field of view. And then they have 2 side-facing cameras that can see the side of the vehicle. And then they have 2 rearward-looking side cameras. And then they're using the backup camera now. They've upgraded the backup camera to get the full short-range rear camera.
Okay.
So you've got 3 in the front, and then 2 side, which gets you to 5. You've got 2 rear, which gets you to 7, and then 1 for the backup camera, which gets you to 8. If my math is correct.
That does sound correct, yeah.
And then you have the forward radar, which is similar. And then you have the ultrasonics, which create a full bubble around the car as well.
And is the forward radar, is that the one that we were talking about where it can like bounce underneath the car in front of you and see the car in front of that?
Yes, and that will continue to improve. And what we heard on the call was actually that their intention was to create a step in between what they've just announced that was going to rely more on radars. But they have had enough breakthroughs in the visioning system that they decided to go more camera optical system and also promise full level 5 autonomy, where before they were expecting it would still be level 4. So an unreleased version of Autopilot upgrades happened in the labs and was never released. And now they're jumping straight to this full-on package, which they believe will be able to do everything they need.
There was a lab accident, and now it's in the wild.
Yeah, and one of the really big components here is that it's very camera heavy, and many of the other car makers are planning to use LiDAR, which is a non-visible light, to be a big component of their self-driving. So that will be intriguing to see how effective the cameras are. That being said, clearly humans are able to drive with purely sight and sound.
Well,
And-
to some level of capability.
Sure, but there's evidence proof that you can drive with purely sight and only sight in a relatively low amount of vision space. So the car will have full vision and distance of vision quite far. It will have the radar, which is a different wavelength, and it will have the ultrasonic. So from my understanding and sort of paying very close attention to this over the past few years now, this seems plausible that this could get you there. And the other big thing is that they have brought the software fully in-house, where previously they worked with a vendor called Mobileye, who was providing a lot of the software for Autopilot as it exists in shipping today for the recognition of the vehicles and some of the sort of barriers and things. But they've now brought that fully in-house, and on the call and in the page that accompanies the Autopilot update, all of the software and the neural nets, which I think we'll have to have a separate episode on, are Tesla in-house software. So everything now related to Autopilot is fully owned and developed by Tesla. And I think one of the really big things here is that, starting tomorrow, cars coming off the line are going to be collecting way more data than the previous vehicles. And one of the other big components of this, besides the sensors, is the computer processing. And they now have a NVIDIA GPU in there that has been upgraded to the Titan edition. Before they were on the Tegra. And the effective difference is 40x in processing power. So it is a wildly more powerful computer, and on the call, Elon called it a supercomputer. It's going to be much beefier and more capable.
And so the camera and computer suite you said that's going to be on all vehicles rolling off starting today or tomorrow?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, so they're making that switch over immediately.
That will be on S's and X's shipping tomorrow, yes.
Okay, but the functionality will remain at the current level 2. Is that we're at level 2, right? I'm losing track of my levels here. Yeah, maybe just to kind of reiterate here. Level 2 is for like cruise control, lane centering. Level 3 is then shifting more safety critical functionality. Mm-hmm. Level 4 is fully autonomous, and level 5 also means like charting your own course.
Yeah, and level 5 is like no human interaction, and level 4 means that sometimes a human might be asked to participate.
Okay, so the promise of the coast to coast full cannonball run,
no
is
humans
level
touching.
5.
Yes, no charging. So there's a bunch of stuff that you won't have to touch the charging. So how they're going to solve that is going to be another discussion.
Oh, they've already got the snake, right?
I know that will be real on the superchargers, and they have some stuff about that in the product pages. I mean, there's just so much good stuff here. And then the other. You can tell I'm excited. The other thing they said in that was, that they plan to be able to do dense urban environments as well as the highway. But one interesting component to this is there's really going to be 3 software levels in big chunks. So the first is if you buy the car tomorrow and you were to get one of the first ones shipping, and you pay for the Autopilot upgrade, it won't do any of the autopilot features today. It won't even have the autopilot safety. And they said that in December, you will be able to upgrade to the autopilot. That software update will come out in December, and it will start to behave in its sort of autopilot plus, the enhanced autopilot.
Where is that in the levels? Is that 2,
Similar,
3, 2.5?
I would say it's 3,
Okay.
because it's going to be on ramp to off ramp, fully GPS driven. So you'd put in a destination, and you get on the highway. It will automatically adjust the speed for you to move at traffic speed, so you don't have to set a speed. It will automatically change lanes to get out of the way of slow vehicles and pass them. It will get you in the correct lane for taking the correct exits or interchanges, and will use the GPS destination to make sure it's navigating you the correct way on the highway. So this is going to be incredible for people who are trying to go from long distances on the highway. So I can imagine here going from San Francisco to LA, the majority of the time, this new Tesla Autopilot Enhanced Edition, shipping in December, January timeframe of 2016, 2017 gap, will be able to take you from the entrance of the highway all the way to an exit in Los Angeles. And that is wildly more capable than what Autopilot could do today.
And do you think that would be like divided highways, or probably not highways where you come, like some highways will kind of reduce down to a two-way road, and then there might be stoplights and stuff. And
yeah, I don't think that will be the stoplight component yet.
Okay.
I think that will wait for the next
so if
component.
you stay on the interstate system, you'll probably be fine. Yeah.
And also that it will be able to do more windy roads. So I think that certainly the pass in Los Angeles, where you kind of have to go up and around and it's a little bit windy,
I think
it should be able to keep up with that.
The full test of this, the full vote of confidence, will be when Elon Musk gets in one of these autopilot vehicles and takes Route 1 down the California coast. That will be a vote of confidence for me.
Yep.
That's like, so you go 6 feet in the wrong direction and you're plummeting 300 feet.
So they've one of the things they called out as part of the new enhanced autopilot, which I think we should talk about as more sort of the near-term autopilot improvements, will be able to better deal with more tight, windy roads. They're calling it Auto Steer Plus. So the sort of steering component. So it says on the product page, with the new Tesla Vision cameras, sensors, and computing power, your Tesla will navigate tighter, more complex roads, where today it's really intended for more straight and very sweeping curves.
Okay, did you say Tesla Vision?
Tesla Vision is the name of sort of the sensing product they're calling it.
That really sounds like something that you would see at the beginning of like a 1980s VHS tape, like,
oh, yeah.
Now in Tesla Vision.
Yes. So the enhanced autopilot is planning to come out in December, and that will do the on ramp to off ramp. So that alone, I think, is really impressive and exciting.
Yeah, but I mean, a natural evolution, though, right? Like that seems like the next place they would go from where they are now.
Yes, agreed. But
sorry, I don't mean to ruin your excitement.
No, I think that's true. I think I was surprised at how fully baked that software description is already. I mean, that's 2.5 months away.
True, but it's a description at this point, though, right? Like it might happen, it might not. I mean, they're just kind of laying out a roadmap. And
yeah,
we all know what happens to software roadmaps.
Sure. I think that one of the things.
Okay, now I feel like a jerk. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I think that they're posting a video now-ish, and by the time this is released, it will probably be out, of showing a Tesla doing more urban driving. So as a result of doing having any confidence that they can do the full autonomy with this, it makes me more confident they're sort of peeling off features from that versus fully like already at the razor's edge and hoping they can get to the full autonomy, if that makes sense.
Like
so,
the Google approach, right? Where they're trying to like wait until they can go the entire distance.
Well, like, yeah, that they already have the sensing, and if they're going to show a video of the car already doing the full Monty sort of driving capabilities, then peeling out parts and refining those for public consumption earlier just gives me perhaps more confidence that it could be a more incremental approach over time as they choose to add in more of these features, and less of just like a total vision statement about what we want it to do, because they're already in the lab and testing on cars beyond this level that they're going to be releasing. So it isn't as if it's like totally pie in the sky kind of concept. It's still a little bit more real.
Sure.
And I'm sure they've been testing this stuff earlier.
Yeah, and in California, they can be testing this on the roads right now, right?
Yep.
And Nevada,
So-
I guess.
Yep. And yeah, I think also Texas.
Sorry, Nevada.
Nevada and Texas and a few other places. So here's the next level, which the full self-driving capability. So I just want to read a little bit about what they said it would do. So all you need to do is get in your car and tell it where you want to go. If you don't say anything, the car will look at your calendar and take that as the assumed destination.
Oh my God, seriously?
Yeah. And if you do nothing, it will just take you home. Your
That
Tesla-
seems like a little too specific.
Yeah, your Tesla will figure out the optimal route, navigate urban streets, even without lane markings, manage complex intersections with traffic lights, stop signals, and roundabouts, and handle densely packed freeways with cars moving at high speed. When you arrive at your destination, simply step out at the entrance and your car will enter park seek mode,
Wait.
automatically searching for a spot and park itself.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying you need to step out before the car enters park mode, like you're going to.
Yes, you do.
Like
You
you're going
get
to do a
out-
barrel roll out of the door or something.
I think it will stop fully, but you
Okay.
could get out at the entrance of the mall or the movie theater and it will go and park itself.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then you open up your Tesla app and you tap it and it will come to you a la Batman.
or
the
your
Batmobile.
Apple Watch, a la
Or your
Michael
Apple
Knight.
Watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, or talk to your Alexa, get my car ready.
Well, you won't have your Alexa with you at the movie theater, Ketlu. Come on, let's be realistic.
Sorry. You're right. That's true.
And it's an Echo, not an Alexa.
You say Alexa, though.
Yeah, that's very confusing. And
I'm getting one. I'm really excited.
we can probably do a whole episode about whether or not that makes any sense as a product. But yeah.
I have one on order. It's coming.
Oh, okay.
The Dot. I thought this was wildly specific and more vision statement-y because they say, please note, self-driving functionality is dependent upon extensive software validation and regulatory approval and may vary widely by jurisdiction.
Yeah, all that's missing is the like 1960s narration guy saying like, in a future where, doing that like 1960s futuristic like car of the future voice,
So,
which I can't do, which would have been funnier if I could.
that's okay. On the call, Elon Musk said that by the end of 2017, so when Model 3 is shipping in any meaningful volume, they plan to do a demonstration from Los Angeles to New York with a driver not touching the controls the entire way.
Will it be a celebrity driver?
They did not say, but that is sooner than any car company has claimed to be able to do that, and certainly in a car that would have potentially the software that would be released to public.
Starting like on ramp to off ramp, or
No,
starting
fully.
from okay.
Starting from someone's house and garage and going all the
like-
way. And he said, drop you off at Times Square.
Oh, nice.
So, that's a bold, that's a baller prediction.
I heartily approve of it.
I'm really excited for that. I mean, that's a little more than a year away. That would be incredible if that actually happens.
That might get me to buy one.
I think you have to. I mean, I think that's the big thing here is, so then the other thing is they already have a disclaimer on the site saying you cannot use self-driving for commercial purposes unless you use the Tesla fleet service, and we'll have more announcements about that next year.
That's really weird. That's so essentially we've got a EULA here, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's ridiculous. Why would that doesn't make any sense.
Because apparently they believe that then they are the driver and they are entitled to revenue because they're driving the car.
Oh God, that's awful. That's so awful. That's like movie company awful levels of copy protection and ridiculousness.
A few other notes initially, and then we can get into some.
I was not
more
done
discussion.
ranting about that.
Sorry, continue.
No, that's fine.
Does that really piss you off?
Yes.
I don't.
You're buying the vehicle. You bought the vehicle. If you're leasing the vehicle, maybe that's a little more tenuous. If it's like just the Tesla network or something, then fine. You can't do something else. Like I can't like hail an Uber and then like charge someone, do some sort of Uber arbitrage and like drive someone around, have the Uber driver drive someone else around. Mm-hmm. Like that's just ridiculous. But I mean, the whole it seems especially odd given that Tesla is in a bit of a tenuous position where buying vehicles might not be something people want to do when they can drive themselves, right? Like obviously there'll be a
But that's why they want that money.
Right,
That's
but
why they want that service revenue.
But I mean, they're like trading in on. There's going to be a hangover, right, between like when the old paradigm is still dominant in people's minds and they want to buy cars. Like I need to buy a car, but
Sure.
but with like newer people coming up, they won't have that. And I feel like this seems like a weird way of sticking it to, like, why can't I buy? I mean, I can buy a Roomba and like take it to my neighbor's house and have it vacuum my neighbor's house and charge my neighbor. Like my Roomba's not going to refuse to like this. Wait a minute, this is Pergo. This isn't hardwood. This is obviously not your house. I'm not going to. I can't vacuum this. You're violating the 40-page agreement you clicked through to get me to vacuum. I mean, it doesn't make. That's like awful lawyerly corporate BS right there. It's buckwass.
I think that I mean, I agree from an ownership point of view that if I own the car, I should be able to do what I want from a libertarian full ownership capitalism point of view. So as an owner, yes. As a observer of Tesla's business model, I think it is quite intriguing that they are now giving the middle finger to Uber and Lyft and anyone else, saying
and their customers.
their customers, the Uber and Lyft customers, that you do not get to piggyback off of our incredible technology advancements for free and make money off of our transportation that we've created.
Yeah, but I feel like
we are going to capture that value from our own customers.
They could do that by separating like end users like from corporate users. I feel like this whole thing of like, yes, legally speaking, like I don't actually own the movie I bought, right? Like I buy a DVD, and even though as 99% of the consumers who go to the store and buy a DVD think they bought that movie and they own that movie, but it turns out you technically bought a license for it. And it's getting into that weird space where I don't think it's obvious to the consumer, like the person buying it. That's not going to seem obvious to them. And for the most part, it's not going to matter, right? Because most people aren't going to be renting out their cars, but I don't know. It feels weird, and it's especially seems weird for companies like GetAround or something, where you're letting people use your car.
They said it's fine for family and friends to use your own car, because I think the thing is, how would Uber connect to the Tesla system to rent out your car? Because you need a way to summon it, to retrieve it, to deal with the billing. It's very different when there's not a human in there clicking the button to accept the ride and drop off the ride. So they're basically saying Uber can't buy our car and try and jack in their own software over top of it and let people have it go around and run Uber instead of our own sharing system. So I'm trying to think of like,
okay, so
I guess it would be like saying this would be people saying Apple should allow Android to run on iPhones. And I know there are a group of people who say that, but it's Apple's decision.
No, that's wrong. That's like saying you want to install your own self-driving software on your Tesla. You're talking operating system level. I think what you're saying here is they don't want Uber to do things like that, but like, can you when you get your Model 3, can you tell Alexa to send your Model 3 to pick me up and take Buster and I to the dog park?
Yes.
Okay.
That would be fine, because I'm in control of that.
Okay.
But what I couldn't do is let some new third-party startup come out and manage my self-driving car for me without Tesla being involved.
So if you have an Airbnb, if you're renting out your apartment on Airbnb, can you include a self-driving car to get you around the area as part of the perks of your Airbnb?
I think you'll be able to do that, because if we think back to the master plan part 2, where Elon went into very detail about the options for the app for the fleet, that they've thought about it a lot, because they have been thinking about this.
Oh, he was very specific, wasn't he?
Exactly. What I think they had considered was you would be able to grant someone access to your account on like a temporary basis, similar to what you could do with like an August smart lock or something like that, where it's like, oh, I'm going to give someone a guest pass and have some controls over that, and then they give it back to you. And I think they absolutely need this for families, because there'll be people in the family who are drivers who could be using the car, or even just between spouses or significant others, of, I want to take the car and then I need it to come back to me, and we're both going to have profiles.
I think they call that boomerang mode, right?
Yeah. And so
I snuck that right in there.
Today was the first day I was really thinking through that. And the other thing I was thinking about was that this is going to, I don't know why I hadn't considered this, that this is going to solve the home charging problem. That you don't need to charge at home because the car will drive off and charge itself at night when you're asleep.
You can just have like neighborhood charging stations.
Yeah. Tesla could just put in a couple neighborhood charging stations at destinations that they can get access to that are within 10 or 15 miles, which is not that hard. And then the cars will just go charge at night for the week, and that's totally fine. You don't necessarily need charging for apartment dwellers because the car will go charge itself at night when it needs a charge.
They can probably partner with gas stations are located so that people are living conveniently to gas stations, so they can start putting superchargers at gas stations.
And the superchargers already are not that busy in the wee hours of the morning. So,
right.
Anyways, that was just sort of dawned on me as like, oh goodness, this is actually when this stuff actually, when the 2 years from now, 3 years from now, that becomes far less of an issue because the car will be able to charge itself whenever it needs to.
Cool. All right, let's bring part one in for a landing here, and
an auto park.
Yes, let's send this off to the neighborhood editing station, and we can dive back in on part two or part deux. Are we part deux of part deux?
Something like that.
Do we need to go to like a third language here? Part trois?
That's the same language.
That's the same language, yeah. I don't know how to say, how do you say two in Spanish? Dos, part dos.
We would love to hear your feedback and reactions to the fully autonomous announcement, the self-driving announcement. So
the path to level 5.
The path to level 5.
Wait, the road to level 5. That's better.
Yes, the upgrade path and road to level 5. You can message us and connect with us on Twitter at The Tesla Show. You can visit our website and leave comments on each individual episode at theteslashow.com. And you can also chat with us on Reddit if you're into that at r/The Tesla Show. And with that, we will talk to you all soon.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.